Hey everyone, welcome back to channel and it's day 3 of our Kubernetes series, and today we're going to discuss about how you can install the kubectl and Minikube, which is basically a local cluster. So these things we are going to see in this particular video, and even we need Docker for running Minikube, so we will install Docker as well. Okay, so let's just see what we are going to do today is that first let's understand why Minikube we are using. Okay, so basically it's like your local Kubernetes cluster. Okay, that for this you don't need to pay any kind of bill. Like if we use AWS, then you need to use EKS, and for GCP, GKE, and Azure AKS. Okay, so these all are the paid services, and if you are going to use it, then obviously you need to pay for it. Okay, but Minikube is basically it's total 100% free, and also it comes with a single node like Kubernetes. Like we'll be having one node, on that only we will run our workloads as well. Okay, and it's basically, yeah, it's perfect for learning and testing and all. Okay, so the very first thing what we'll do is we'll install kubectl, but before that I will tell you what we will do is that we'll first install the Docker. Okay, so for that what you can do is that you can just search on the Google like Docker install Ubuntu maybe. I'll be basically using Linux Mint, or you can use any VM, whether it's Linux, like it could be Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or anything. Anything is fine. Okay, so let's now just see how you can do it. So for the Ubuntu, here you have okay, this command first of all I need. So this one I'll just go and I will just open up my terminal here. So here I can just run that command. And even if you want to do it on EC2 instances, there also you can just launch like Ubuntu kind of instance, and there you can just run the same commands. It will perfectly work for you. Okay, so I'm running this inside the VMware. Even if you're running in the virtual box, then also it's fine, no issues. Okay, so once this command is done, we have to install the latest version of the Docker. So that I will do. Okay, so and we can just do install, and it will take around few seconds of time as it's 404 MB. Okay, then next we have to just check systemctl status Docker. Once this is done, then we can check. By that time I will just search for kubectl install as well here. Kubectl install Ubuntu, and we can go with the first link here. Okay, let me just see. Okay, it's almost done. So once this setup and all is done, then next class we can just take the kubectl one, like about kubectl commands. Let me just check. Okay, it's done now. Yeah, so abhi check kar lete. Okay, status is running, so it's running already, so no need to just start. Then you need to run this sudo, but we'll do that later. After that, what you need to do, you have to just go scroll down and you have to go here, post installation. Okay, this we are doing it because you don't need to run every time using sudo. Okay, okay, so it already existing, that's fine. Next you have to use this command to add your user. Okay, then log out and log back so that group membership is evaluated. Okay, you can also run following to activate the changes to the groups. Okay, cool. So now Docker and hello world is there, but now if I do, it will okay, I think it will work. Let's see. Hmm, okay, it worked. That's nice. No need to restart the VM. In case for you it doesn't work, then what you can do, you can just reboot your instance and then it will work. Okay. So basically, previously, if we don't add that user, then you need to use this sudo. Okay. So now, cool. Now the thing is, Docker is installed. Now it's time to just install the kubectl. So kubectl is basically a CLI tool which is used to interact with the Kubernetes API server. Okay. So for that, what we have to do, we are, yeah, x86 that's fine. So just sorry, Control C, and you can just download that kubectl. Then after that, we can just validate. This is the optional step. Then again checksum, this is also optional. Then we can just go for the third step. Okay, sudo install. So once it is done, after that we can just check the version. Not version, we need to just do these steps. So just do this. After that we have to just check the version using this. Okay, so version 1.36.2 is installed. That's fine. And yeah, it's time to now set up the Minikube. So we have to just search on Minikube install Linux करके. Then यहाँ पे we will be having the how we can install. So let's just select the Linux and 8664. That's fine. Just copy this command and just run it. After that we have to basically start the Minikube start. Okay, so let's just see once our ppt what we have here. So here you can see yeah, so first kubectl will be installed. If you are on the Mac OS, you can just use the brew. On Windows you can use this command. Okay, next we are installing the Minikube. So already we ran this particular command, and same if you're Mac you can do this, and Windows you can do this. Okay, so Minikube start. So after installing we'll run this command only. So it basically what it does, it checks this driver. So Docker it checks basically, then it install all the whatever you have, API server, etcd scheduler, controller manager, kubelet, kubeprox, everything it installs. Okay, and also it generates list certificate and all, creates kubeconfig, so kubectl can connect. So kubeconfig is basically one file which we use to like we in that we get the cluster information. Okay, so and also yeah, here this is the main thing, it basically creates a Docker container that acts as the Kubernetes node. Okay, so first let's just run this Minikube start command here so that we can just check the further things. So yeah, it's pulling, so it will basically take few seconds of time. Then after that we can just run the kubectl commands to verify, and even we can run the Minikube version now, so to check what is the version here. Okay, 1.3.8, that's fine. So once this is done, then we will run our commands. Okay, so we can just run Minikube start, then we have kubectl get nodes, and then kubectl cluster info. So these commands we have to run to check whether our cluster is running fine or not. Okay, so let me just download. I'll just pause the video for a few seconds. So you can see here now it's going for creation of your Docker container. Okay, so once this is done, then we will be having our cluster ready. So we'll just wait for it. So now you can see here all the further steps, preparing Kubernetes and all. Okay, cool. So now it's done. Okay, you can just check with the Minikube status. Okay, and also what you can do here is you can see everything is running. Okay, okay. So now what we can do is that we can just run the docker ps command. So you will see here you are having one container is running. Okay. So now let's just run the kubectl commands to just see whether we have nodes and all. So you can see if you do kubectl get nodes, you will see the nodes information, basically your worker nodes information. Okay. And if you will just do kubectl get pods hyphen n is basically the namespace that we'll see later on what it is. But right now you can just run this hyphen n cube system. So cube system is the one namespace where all your these Kubernetes main components runs. Okay, like your core DNS, your etcd, kube api server, controller manager, proxy scheduler, everything. Okay. So whatever we discussed in our architecture class, so it's the same thing which is running here. Okay. So next thing what we have is that we can just run the maybe kubectl cluster info. It will show you the cluster information maybe. So you can see control plane is running at this port or this IP and code DNS and all you can see. Okay. Now, the next important thing which you need to understand here is that that is basically your context. Okay, so this we verified, and when we saw this thing, namespaces is basically logical cluster isolation, right? So that we'll see later on. So basically, cube system जो है that is the main namespace of for your Kubernetes. Okay, okay. Let's now see about okay, config view is the one thing how kubectl knows where to go and all. So if you will just do kubectl config view, sorry, uh, yeah, config view no dash. Hmm. So here you can see API version v1, and like you will see basically the information regarding your cluster. So you can see here name of your cluster, your endpoint, who is the provider, all this thing, context. You can see that is the Minikube, which cluster. So also one more thing here you need to understand is that there is one directly it creates basically cd dot cube. If you do so, you will see one config file. Okay, so it's the same config which you will see here using kubectl config view. Okay, so in this config file basically you store the cluster informations. Okay, so let's say in you're running one same you have some Linux environment and you want to access different clusters. Okay, so in that case you need to just add those cluster information into this config file. Okay, so if you see next here, so that's what is the context. Okay, so context is basically the cluster plus user plus namespace. So it just like suppose there is some production cluster, dev cluster, and some different UAT cluster, right? So you are running three different clusters and you want to connect to each maybe in different times. So what you need to do, you need to update your context in that case. Okay, so currently you have this. If you want to see the current context, you can just run this command kubectl config current context. Okay, so here you will be having Minikube, and if you will just do here the next command which we have, that is the kubectl config get context. If you will do so, in that case whatever context will be present inside your config, those thing you will get. Array what I'm doing, shit. kubectl config get context, it was I was writing. hmm. So abhi Minikube hai only. So this is the one thing. Okay, about the context. So next thing which we have here is the production scenario. That's what I discussed. So if you have development, staging, or production, and sometimes your context is production only and you applied some changes, then in that case your production will basically break. Okay, so the very first thing which you should do here is that you should run this particular command kubectl config get context to see your context, okay, where you are. Okay, so this is the one thing. And so now we our cluster is basically ready. So from now tomorrow onwards, we can just see the kubectl commands and all, what are the different commands, and also we can start exploring Kubernetes side like pods, deployments, all those things. Okay, so that's it for this particular video. Think it's a bit long video, but if you're still till here, then thank you so much for watching till here. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much guys for watching.